quiet town of St. Anthony, Texas, the kind of place where neighbors wave from porches and nothing really happens. A single phone call shattered everything. 47-year-old Peter Tide was a man few people really knew. He kept to himself, lived with his 71-year-old father, and was battling demons most of us can't even imagine. His younger brother Roy thought it was another breakdown. But when police arrived at the Tide residence, they found a blood-stained hallway, a silent man, and a locked trunk that would reveal something far more horrifying. Inside that trunk was a truth no one in the family was prepared to face. Was this cold-blooded murder, or the unraveling of a broken mind? Tonight, we explore the tragic case of a son, a father, and a psychological spiral no one saw coming.
What was in the trunk? What did police find out? Why did Peter call Roy? What do you think? Type your comments now. If you have not subscribed to Silent Witness, click the subscribe button now.
On the 4th of June, 2019, the sun was just beginning to slide below the rooftops of St. Anthony, Texas. A town so quiet that even its silence had a sound. The sweltering air buzzed with the last cicadas of the day, and Sycamore Lane looked like any other sleepy street lined with drooping trees and overgrown lawns. But behind the drawn curtains of 118 Sycamore, something had ruptured. Something irreversible. At 6:42 p.m. on June 4, 2019, Roy Tide's phone rang. He hadn't heard from his older brother in weeks. Not since Peter's last episode. The one that left a broken mirror and a terrified nurse at the behavioral unit in San Marcos. Peter wasn't supposed to have been discharged. But paperwork fails. Budgets tighten. People fall through cracks. The screen blinked. Peter. He hesitated before answering. Something about the timing, it wasn't right. He picked up. Hello. There was a pause, too long to be normal. Then, Peter's voice. Flat, hollow, like it was coming from deep inside a tunnel. Dad's dead. Roy sat upright. What? He's gone. He's not here anymore. Silence. But he won't stop talking. The line went dead. Roy's heart thundered in his chest. He tried to call back, twice. No answer. He called 911 and begged them to do a wellness check. My brother lives with my father. Something's wrong. I think my dad might be hurt. By 7:18 p.m., 2 officers arrived at the Tide residence. What they found would shake this quiet town forever. The Tide home was suffocating. The windows were shut, fans unplugged, curtains drawn so tightly the house seemed to shrink inward. The responding officers stepped carefully over clutter. Pill bottles, empty soup cans, a Bible with pages torn out. In the kitchen sink, a single knife lay soaking in pink water. Peter sat against the hallway wall, rocking slightly. Where is your father, Peter? No answer. Just a blink. A twitch. In Jacob's bedroom, the mattress was stripped. One pillow was missing. There was a faint smear of blood along the floorboards, trailing toward the back door. The home's only camera, a motion sensor security feed installed by Roy 6 months prior, captured what police would soon view in chilling clarity. Timestamp, 4:26 p.m. Peter walks into frame, dragging a heavy object wrapped in a floral blanket. His face expressionless, his gait robotic. He struggles with the weight as he moves toward the garage. 4:31 p.m. Peter backs Jacob's Buick out of the driveway. Trunk closed. As Peter lay sedated in the psychiatric ward of St. Anthony General, detectives scrambled to piece together the missing hours. Where had Peter gone between 4:30 and 5 p.m.? Where was Jacob? The Buick was found abandoned 11 miles away on a remote stretch of Old Creek Road. In the trunk, wrapped in a blood-soaked blanket, was the body of Jacob Tide. His face was bruised, neck swollen, multiple stab wounds to the chest and abdomen. The autopsy confirmed the cause of death as blood loss and blunt force trauma. But something didn't fit. There were no defensive wounds. No signs Jacob had fought back. No broken furniture. No overturned chairs. Jacob had been killed quickly, cleanly, almost ritualistically. 5:03 p.m. Peter returns. Alone. Peter Tide had been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder at 28. He heard voices, not just random murmurs, but full conversations, arguments, commands. Doctors had tried everything: lithium, risperidone, ECT. Nothing held for long. Jacob had been his caretaker for nearly 2 decades. Their routine was unchanging. Morning meds, afternoon walk, evening Bible reading. But in the weeks leading up to June 4th, something shifted. Neighbors reported hearing Peter yelling late at night, screaming about the man in the wall, about how his father was not his father anymore. One neighbor, Mrs. Tillman, claimed Peter once knocked on her door at 3 a.m., shirtless and shaking. He kept saying, "He's wearing my father's face." Peter's delusions had evolved, more vivid, more paranoid. But Jacob never reached out for help. He believed in faith, in structure, in never giving up on family. That belief would cost him everything. Peter was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. But the court proceedings were anything but straightforward. A team of psychiatric evaluators declared Peter not criminally responsible by reason of insanity. Their findings? Peter had experienced a severe psychotic break at the time of the killing. He believed his father had been replaced, a phenomenon known as Capgras delusion. He genuinely believed he was acting in self-defense. The trial was short. The judge ruled that Peter could not be held accountable for actions taken during a period of impaired reality. The public was outraged. "So he just gets to kill and walk free?" one neighbor asked reporters. "That man should never be allowed outside again." Peter was remanded to the Northlake Psychiatric Forensic Facility for an indefinite period. But the question lingered like a stain on the wall. Was this justice? Roy Tide stood alone at his father's grave on a wet October morning, 5 months after the killing. He hadn't spoken to Peter since the day of the call. He didn't attend the hearings. He hadn't set foot in the family home. But he couldn't let go of one question. Could this have been prevented? He remembered the signs, the mutterings, the way Peter stared into corners. The time he caught Peter writing Bible verses on the basement walls in permanent marker. Roy had pleaded with his father to consider a care facility. But Jacob, ever faithful, refused. Now Jacob was dead, and Peter was in a padded cell anyway. Roy placed a hand on the headstone. It read, "Jacob Raymond Tide, Father, faithful, forgiving." A part of Roy wondered if Jacob forgave Peter even now. But Roy didn't. Not yet. 3 years later, the Tide house remains boarded up. No buyers. No tenants. Just dust and memory. Some say they've seen lights flickering inside at night. Others say the front door creaks open on windless evenings. Peter Tide remains at Northlake, medicated, monitored, sometimes lucid, sometimes not. When asked about the incident, he always says the same thing. "It wasn't him. My father died weeks before. I don't know who I killed." Investigators closed the case. But psychiatrists, criminologists, and even internet sleuths still discuss the Tide case today. Not because of the violence, but because of the mind behind it. A man who didn't kill out of hatred or greed, but out of terror, delusion, and maybe love. What do you believe? Was Peter a victim of a broken mind? Or was there something darker at play? Let's hear your views in the comments section. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to It's Silent Witness for more suspense and thrilling crime stories. I watch out for our next story.